If you're trying to improve your pronunciation, there's a pretty good chance that you're focusing on the wrong things. And this is because most people don't actually have a pronunciation problem, they have a pressure problem, and it's not the same thing. They think they have to have a perfect British accent, or they think they have to fix every single sound. Or worse of all, they think they have to sound like a native speaker. And that mindset usually makes things worse, not better. So in this video, I want to share 5 things that I wish more people knew about pronunciation before they spend years obsessing over the wrong things. And one of these completely changed my perspective when it comes to accents and clarity, so let's get cracking. Hey up mate, and cheers for finding this video. My name is Dan, I'm a CELTA qualified British English teacher, and my goal is to help you communicate more confidently in English. So this video isn't about sounding more British, whatever that means, it's about sounding more clear and confident. And the good news is this is a practical skill that you can improve and develop just like anything else, like playing guitar or learning to swim. And as always, we're not aiming for perfection, we're just aiming for progress. But before we jump into it, I want to remind you that you can get my BritSpeak starter kit for free right now using the link in the description. It's got a bunch of stuff that will help you improve your English speaking skills. So let's start with the biggest misconception. You don't have a sound problem. You have a thinking problem. When you're speaking in English, you're actually thinking about a lot of different things. You're thinking about grammar and vocabulary and what the other person thinks and whether you sound stupid or not. And this mental overload slows down your processing. And when that happens, pronunciation kind of goes out of the window and it becomes a bit unstable. For me in Japanese, I could often pronounce a word perfectly when it was done in isolation, but as soon as I got in a conversation, it just fell apart. It's not that you can't make the sounds, it's that your brain is overloaded. It's like an old laptop with 100 apps open at the same time. It's not going to perform very well, is it? And that's why listening to more native speakers doesn't automatically fix this problem. And speaking of native speakers, a British accent shouldn't be the goal. Clarity is. So many people that I work with tell me that they want to learn a British accent. And I ask them, well, why? You're not British. Why do you want to learn a British accent? And they say, so people can understand me more easily. But accent doesn't equal understanding. If you've ever spoken to somebody from Yorkshire, you'll know that that's true, right? What actually matters is clarity. We're talking clear vowel lengths, we're talking word stress, we're talking rhythm. This is the stuff that helps people understand what you're trying to say. For example, if you're not very good with vowel lengths and you want to say sheet, but you say shit, it doesn't matter if you do that in a Brazilian accent or a Spanish accent or a French accent, it's still wrong. So you can keep your accent and still sound clear and confident, and you should because it's part of your identity and there's nothing wrong with that. So don't focus on the accent part, focus on the clarity part. Which brings me to something else that people usually overcomplicate. You don't need to fix everything all at once. Improving your pronunciation can be really overwhelming. There's a lot of different things that you could focus on. You could try and master the IPA chart, or you could really focus on being able to pronounce every single sound perfectly in English, or you can try and eliminate every mistake when it comes to intonation, but that's going to make it much harder to actually do anything when you're focusing on everything. So if I were you, what I would do is identify 2 to 3 sounds that either cause misunderstandings or damage your confidence. And take those sounds and focus exclusively on them. 5 minutes a day, targeted practice, and a lot of repetition, and eventually those sounds are not going to cause you problems anymore. For example, maybe you're not very good at the TH sounds. Great, learn how to make them. Do some minimal pairs practice every day, and do it for 5 minutes every day for a couple of months, and I bet you can pronounce that sound much more clearly than you can today. However, another big mistake people make is trusting spelling too much, because spelling is lying to you. And let's be honest, English spelling is an absolute nightmare. It's completely unreliable. The letters usually don't represent the sounds, and if you're using spelling to guess pronunciation, you're probably making a lot of mistakes and you don't even realize it. Now, the easiest way to fix this problem is to ignore the spelling altogether and use something called IPA. These are little phonetic symbols that will teach you exactly which sound you're supposed to make in order to say that word correctly, and that's why every single dictionary uses an IPA transcript when it comes to pronunciation. Now, it is tricky because there's a lot of these new symbols that maybe you've never seen before, but you don't need to memorize them all. You just need to learn how to use them, especially when you're learning new words in English. Don't rely on the spelling of that word. Look up the transcript in the dictionary, and that'll teach you how to pronounce it correctly. And if you're looking to get started with that, in my starter kit, there's a free IPA chart that you can print out and put it next to your computer so you're always prepared when you're learning new words. But sometimes even knowing the correct sound is not enough. And that's because pronunciation is physical. Understanding a sound doesn't mean you can make the same sound. Pronunciation is all about muscle memory. You've got to understand things like mouth position, tongue position, airflow, tension, vocal cords. You've got to know how all of this stuff works together in real time to be able to do it. Just like any other physical skill, you have to do it a lot before your body understands how to do it automatically. If you know how to play guitar, you'll understand that you have to put your fingers in certain positions to make chords. At first, that's very difficult. After a few years, and you've done it hundreds of times, you don't think about it, your fingers just know which positions to go to, and that's what we're aiming for when it comes to muscle memory for pronunciation. And the way that you do this is through repeated, focused practice. You could try things like minimal pairs or shadowing, or you could even do something like tongue twisters. And I've got a full video all about speaking practice techniques that you can use even if you're on your own. I'll link it in the description. So just try to remember that your mouth needs way more practice than your brain needs theory. And if you want some practical tools to help you with this kind of thing, including the IPA chart I mentioned earlier, you should download the BritSpeak Starter Kit using the link in the description. It's totally free, and I'll send it you now. And by this point, if you've realized that pronunciation and confidence are connected, I strongly recommend watching this video next. It explains why speaking feels harder than it should, even though your English is good. But that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back again with another one really soon, but until then, look after yourself. See you there.